On June 26, 2020, No tweeted 4 photos of President Barack Obama eating hot dogs with the caption, "Obama really the glizzy gulper." AOC supremacists responded, "Trump could never throat that much glizzy, hard eyes." Bernie Johnson replied, "Yes he could, idiot." AOC supremacists responded, "You mad Obama the throat goat." And Bernie Johnson replied, "He isn't the throat goat. Trump could throat more than him any day." This is the Museum of Twitter, the show where we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. If you've been following the news at all, it should be very obvious why I am covering this exchange today. And if you have not been following the news at all, I suggest you look it up, because I basically can't say any of the words necessary to convey what is in the news that would make me cover this. Let's just say that there is an Epstein email that implies that Donald Trump might have performed an act on Bill Clinton. That is not dissimilar to the action of eating a hot dog. But before we get to the newfound 2025 meaning of this exchange, this was already a famous and funny exchange. Because honestly, anytime you talk about eating a hot dog, you're going to invite some euphemisms. Although No's point is entirely correct, like Obama really does get after a hot dog. And I respect him for this. There's nothing I respect less than someone eating something daintily because they don't want to look silly. It's a long cylindrical object. There's only one way to eat it properly. And AOC supremacists responded with the euphemisms I'm talking about, saying throat that much glizzy. And then Bernie Johnson jumped in to say that AOC supremacist is an idiot. And AOC supremacists kept going and said, "You mad Obama the throat goat," which is taking things even further away from hot dogs. But it's unclear if Bernie knows this because he keeps defending his President Trump. Now, a big question I had going into doing this episode, because I had seen this exchange, I never really investigated it, is Bernie sincere? Because I think it's very easy to read this exchange at first glance and be like, okay, this is a troll. But then I went on Bernie's page, and if this is a troll, this is an extremely committed and sporadic troll. For one, he doesn't tweet that often, like he went like 2 years without sending a tweet on his main feed. And when he does tweet, he doesn't really tweet anything funny, he doesn't troll anyone, he sort of just retweets and quote tweets conservative propaganda. Like in 2023, he quote tweeted a video of Jorge Masvidal chanting "Let's go Brandon" with "GOAT," and he tweets a lot of transphobic nonsense, specifically stuff about girls playing in boy sports. And so like, yeah, this could be a troll, or it could just be someone who actually believes this stuff and doesn't know what the term throat goat means. Now, a piece of evidence in favor of him knowing what was going on is that whenever people tweet about how good this thread is, he'll often jump in and be happy about it. Like Boston Celtics enjoyer said, "This is the greatest thread in history," and Bernie Johnson said, "Facts." And Morty said, "I come back to this every now and then, LMAO," and Bernie Johnson said, "Good." So I don't know. I personally think that he is being sincere, but I think I've gotten myself in trouble on the show before doing that, because I do have a penchant for assuming that someone is just sincerely dumb when they are trolling. Like, I kind of have a bad troll detector, I'll be honest about that. I just am extremely credulous when it comes to how dumb people can be on the internet. But with that out of the way, let's talk about how people are talking about it now. Because obviously this recent email that was released, if it is true, lends some credence to what Bernie was saying. So people like President-elect Taguro quoted it and said, "He knew," with the Lisan al-Gaib meme from Dune. Jordan Ull quoted it with, "Most people rejected his message." Dave Miller quoted it with the Baby Yoda meme that says, "What did he see?" Tumultuous Noise said, "Bernie Johnson has surpassed Lenin and Ernst Thälmann as the most vindicated man in world history." Animals responded to AAC supremacist's original tweet with, "I have bad news." Unworthy Hand tweeted, "We have to give this guy credit. He was right. Obama is not and never was the glizzy gulper, and Trump really was always the throat goat." But some people do reject this, like Michael Harriet said, "Calling Donald Trump the throat goat is very disrespectful to Nancy Reagan's legacy," which is a reference to another great day on Twitter that I will eventually try to cover with as many euphemisms as possible. I don't know how that's going to work. And going all the way around to the man whose email started this whole thing, Seth Howey tweeted a screenshot of Jim Downey doing his Jeff Epstein bit with Donald Trump the throat goat. We live in extremely strange times. No one could deny that. And I don't know how I feel about the fact that this thread was vindicated. And I also don't like the images that this whole situation is making me conjure. But if that's what the news is going to be, if that's what's going to be in the zeitgeist, in our crazy world, I do take solace that we can have laughs about it on Twitter. Are they joyful, funny, haha laughs? No, of course not. But Jesus Christ, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Laughs are better than nothing. Follow me for a new tweet every day. And if you like the show, please go to the Patreon, patreon.com/museum of Twitter. Read a weekly bonus episode called the Museum of Not Twitter, and you get to vote on what I cover on Subscriber Sundays.